Hey y'all. So I just finished watching They Live, a movie recommended to me by my cousins. Hopefully, this will be more of a full review than the last few reviews because my phone memory is low and I'm recording it on my phone. So, okay, bear with me, you guys. Okay, so this movie looks like it was set in the 80s, the 1980s. And to me, it was a thriller, more so than a horror. It's a horror film, supposed to be a horror film, but to me, it was more of a thriller than a horror. But that's just my opinion. Um, okay, it starts off with this guy named John. He's a drifter. He was just moving to this place. He was looking for a job. He ends up stumbling onto this construction site and asks for a job and winds up working there. Now, he didn't have a place to stay. He winds up meeting this man named Frank that also works at the construction site. Frank tells him he knows of a place where he can stay and get food, so he takes him with him and he gets some food and wind up staying there at the place that Frank takes him to. John winds up hearing this message broadcast on TV as these older people watching TV, and it was like that telling them that they're trying to control them and their sleep, and he was just hearing things off the TV, and he noticed this man going across the street to a building. So John, being nosy, yes, I said being nosy, starts watching the church across the street because that's where the guy went to. Okay, him being nosy, he winds up telling Frank about it. Frank was like, "I want no part of it. I just got this job. I have a wife and child. I really don't want to know about it." John was being nosy, and he winds up going into this church later, and winds up stumbling upon some things there. So anyway, the next day, or later on that day, should I say, that night, the church wind up getting ransacked by the police, and the police also um, tears down the place where they were living, where they were getting their food from and everything like that. Nobody really knew why they were doing this. But John winds up going back to the church where the police had kind of ransacked, and but this is like the next day he goes back and he finds some glasses. The glasses kind of shows him the reality of what's really going on. So after John finds out about what's really going on, he wants everybody to kind of put on these glasses. John kind of goes Rambo and starts being this kick-tail action star, and I guess and starts like shooting things that he feel are those not human when he sees them in the glasses, and he wants everybody else to wear these glasses to see what he sees. It was all in all, because I don't want to give away too much, but all in all, it was a pretty okay movie. Definitely could tell the 80s. It was action, action, action. Some of it, if I had to give it a score, it might be a 6.5. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't like the best of the best I've ever seen, but it wasn't definitely not a horrible movie. To me, about a 6.5, but to somebody else, it might be like it's outstanding. Maybe at its time, it probably was. I think it could have been more of a connection with the lead actress and the leading main character, like more of a connection. I didn't feel as though we kind of see that relationship grew or grow or whatever. It's just a lot more that could have been added on. Did enjoy the friendship between John and Frank. That I did like. So The movie was not a bad movie, but I would give it like maybe a 6.5. Um, but it was not a bad movie at all. If I had watched it in the 80s or something, I probably would have been blown away. But me watching it in the 2000s, I'm like, hmm. But it was not a bad movie. Definitely worth checking out, you guys. All right, to my next review. Peace.